Okay, YouTubers, this is part 2 of the classification of hauntings. I did buy a new mic, already been at Walmart, got my headsets. Actually, the other mic that my husband fixed didn't sound too bad. But what I'm going to do is this is on apparitions, the type of hauntings, classification. This is class 1 still. So I'm going to go ahead but remember, these are interactive former human spirits and their patterns. Okay, ghost, an apparition is a spirit, I'm not going to say ghost once again, which are clearly such are known as apparition. There are several different types of categories. One is atmospheric, okay? It is also known as residual or replay hauntings. These are typically seen in only one location, repeating a certain action again and again, usually something attached to a traumatic event. Okay, and then you have the number 2, which is still classified as 1, the crisis or deathbed. Okay, these appear to family or friends around the time of death. According to my research, usually I have interviewed doctors and nurses, and they say that sometimes they too see like a flash. Okay, and of course they're a very common type sighting and almost never occur more than 4 days after death. Remember, we're still under apparitions, okay? But this is the this is the category. You have your apparition, which is number 1, atmospheric, number 2, crisis or deathbed. Okay, so these are under the category. The number 3 is family. Spirits which are connected to a particular family. They often foretell death and disaster. And say if you go out and you catch an apparition, these are giving you guidelines of what they might be. Okay? Also too, now under apparitions and class 1 is number 4, haunted objects. Instead of a haunting a location, a particular object is the anchor for the spirit. If they like something well enough in this lifetime, okay, and I mean, there are mementos that we're attached to. They also attach themselves to their objects, and they can become, these are what they call haunted objects. Number 5 is an object apparition, a manifestation of a spirit item which can be natural or man-made objects. Okay, what this is just like with the 4, but it's not a haunting type thing. It's a manifestation, and they can attach themselves to items or something that is natural. Say they loved a certain tree or something. Okay. Alright, we have the number 6, which is still under apparitions, which is still classified as 1. That's photographic. This is the most common. Spirits are not seen until after the photo is taken and examined. These may include orbs, mist, ectoplasm, vortexes, shadows, and other unusual light or optical effects. Many debate whether they are actually spirits, ghosts, or souls. Personally, I feel that there is some kind of energetic or spiritual byproduct. I believe that they are the energy left behind, or they have not left the earth and they appear. I have seen them far away and approach the person with the camera, okay, and it was red. I got an apparition of a colonial soldier. Okay, so they can come in, but they're still category under apparitions. Okay, but the photography is the most common. Then you got your number 7. Now remember, this is still under class 1 of the interactive former human spirit patterns. Okay, you have your number 7, which is historical. These are like atmospheric, except they can be seen in more than one location, going about their business. Non-interactive, they fall into a location base, typically dressed in the period clothing and often appear solid. which means that they are in their own attire in their era. Then you have the number 8, which is still under the classification 1, reoccurring. Spirits that appear on a certain time schedule or anniversary, usually annually. Remember, these are still under apparitions. Now, number 9 is what I call the modern spirit. Has historical, but they resemble more contemporary people. Like I see spirits walking down my sidewalk. They are dressed in our time. So this is what I would characterize as apparitions in our modern day. Okay? And number 10 is transportation. This is still under Class 1 apparition, also known as phantom craft. They are often associated with final moments of some tragic accident. The wreckage itself can attach energy in such a way as to become haunted. There are some kinds that are not necessarily regulated to one location, but can be seen anywhere that it would have normally been seen in the pre-spirit existence. The Flying Dutchman is a famous example, and usually sightings 1 is a bad omen. Okay? Number 11 is Marian, which some believe to be appearance of the Virgin Mary. This could also cover cameos by other saints or religious spiritual figures. But remember, we're still under classification 1. This is 12, out of body. Okay, the appearance of a living person who is actually in another location. They are not necessarily ill or dying and can be either solid or translate. Some claim to recall their OBE and can give verbal details about the location they were seen, probably related to astral projection. I've done that, but I wasn't aware that I was doing it. Then you got your number 13 under classification 1, which is apparitions. The battlefields, also known as floating battlefields. They resemble an actual reenactment of war, but for some reason they typically occur above the ground, from several to 100 feet up in some cases. We're talking like Gettysburg. We're talking about where any major war had taken place. Of course, you got your Gray Lady in number 14. The ghosts of women, the spirits of women who've died in sadness over loved or betrayal can be white, gray, or black. So if you get a photography or something on film, on cam, or whatever of a a woman, okay, it can be white, gray, or black. They have died of a sadness or love or betrayal. All right, now. The Radiant Boys, the legend says that these are the spirits of boys murdered by their mothers, often appear as a glowing, bright specters. Now, I've never known or come into any contact with the Radiant Boys, but I have come in contact where there was a little girl murdered by her mother, so this falls into the category of the Radiant Boys. 16. Mirror. These are the apparitions which are seen in the reflection of water, glass, and etc., but do not appear as a direct image. These are objects where you get in the mirror, windows, whatever, or lakes, whatever, water, stream, creek, whatever. If you get an image, it is called a mirror because the mirror reflects. Okay, this concludes the second part of the category 1 of the apparitions.